Ab Albano, and I brought a little something special for everybody today. Ta-da! I made muffins!
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Backlot Banter movie review. My name is Tucker Hazel, of course. I am joined by my co-host, Tanner Dexter, who hates the Romano family just as much as I do. And today, we're here to talk about Mafia Mamma, a movie that I was excited about because of its premise, but frankly, it blew away my expectations. Yeah. I'm very excited to break down why this is personally one of my favorite movies of the year, and I highly recommend it. Tanner?
Yes?
What should people do? Do you think they should subscribe? Do you think
I think they should subscribe.
Like the video, maybe?
If you're a Mafia Mamma fan or someone unfamiliar with Mafia Mamma who's like, what the hell is this movie that they're reviewing? Subscribe to Backlot Banter. Backlot Banter, rather.
Yes.
You can subscribe to Backlog Banter if you like video games. Like this video, and join our Discord. That link is in the description. There, you can talk about all sorts of movies, video games, anything that life throws at you, including the 2023 film Mafia Mamma.
Oh, yeah, and you better. Because we're going to be talking about this movie for a while because, Tanner.
Yeah.
I loved Mafia Mamma. There are just some times when movies hit the right note for me with concept, with casting, with humor, and I think Mafia Mamma just completely outdid itself. I think this is a fantastic movie from any metric you throw at it.
I really think so too, Tucker, because it not only is this the most I've laughed in a movie genuinely and consistently in a long time.
We had Bros last year. That was a funny movie.
Yeah, we had Bros last year. But even then, I think I was probably laughing more during this one than I was during Bros. But it also looks great. Everyone in it is fantastic.
Oh my god, the cast.
Yeah. And it's just surprising. It's like, we went to go see this kind of on a whim. We were seeing Renfield this week, and he was like, oh, we got a couple other releases. What should we go see? You know, we were kind of making jokes about Mafia Mamma. He's like, yeah, let's go see it. Why not? And then it just happens to be one of the funniest movies I've seen in recent memory, especially in theaters. So, Tucker, where would you like to start with Mafia Mamma?
Well, I want to talk about where I was most surprised, because frankly, I expected Toni Collette to be very funny.
Yep.
I expected to really enjoy the premise, and we're starting to get to both those aspects, but I think this film is actually a lot better produced and made than I expected it to be. This is a relatively small production, but lots of on-location filming in Italy, lots of really phenomenal production design of these extravagant houses and the amazing costumes that all these characters are wearing, and lots of really rich color grading of grape vineyards and Italian streets. This movie sells itself in the world that it creates far better than I expected to in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. It obviously looks great, and that's something that blew me away as well. It was like, you can see like the dust particles in the air, and just like when they're getting out of cars, I'm just like, this looks great. We're on location, we're in a real place, we're at golden hour, the sun is backlighting all of our characters, and honestly, and this might be colored by us, double featuring this with Renfield that night. I was just like, it's funny, it looks good, and we're in a real place. And unfortunately, that's a lot more than you can ask from movies these days. And
that's true.
I gotta give it to director Catherine Hardwicke, who viewers might know from directing the first Twilight film, as well as some of her original work like Lords of Dogtown and 13. She's got the juice here with Mafia Mamma. She knows how to make it look good, how to make it feel good, how to make it sound good, and how to make you feel good when watching this, because goddamn, Tucker, this movie is funny. It's firing on all cylinders, and by that I mean everyone in this cast, in this ensemble, is bringing it. We can start with Toni Collette, because as you said, we were expecting Toni Collette to be the funny one of the bunch here. She is doing this fish out of water role as this woman who, this mother from Los Angeles, who sort of, put upon, she's very much putting everyone else's feelings and, priorities before her own. And she decides, after her son moves off to college and her husband cheats on her, that she's gonna go to Italy and have her eat, pray, love, or eat, pray, fuck, if you will, time of her life a little bit. Lo and behold, she has inherited a mafia family. She is a Mafia Mamma, as one might say. And she gets thrown into all sorts of scenarios. She has to meet with mafia bosses. She has to sort of, figure out what sort of crime syndicate industry they'll get into. And she takes all this in stride, while also sort of, going on this journey of self-discovery and putting herself first. And Toni Collette carries all of that.
Yeah, and I think the growth of her character And the range of comedy that she has across this film is really what sells it, because you talk about the concept, the fish out of water concept. You start there, you know that's kind of what it's going to be from the trailers, and it's like, okay, oh, she's a suburban white woman in these ridiculous scenarios, and she's never seen anyone die before. She's dodging assassination attempts, and okay, yeah, that's going to be funny. But seeing her come to terms with her own abilities as a person, and that she can put herself first and can believe in herself and can make choices that benefit herself instead of others, that is like a strong character arc that she goes through. And by the end, she's very confident, and she's leading the family as a crime boss. Well, not actually, but you'll understand if you watch the movie. Mm-hmm. And I really do like that it balances comedy with genuine character work, which a lot of comedies kind of avoid because they're just focused on being funny. Yeah. But through through the comedy and through the character work, you get a nice synergy. But it's really because she's surrounded by an incredible supporting cast, just down the line. Everyone in every supporting role. I think maybe except for like her son, who's only in like 2 scenes. Yeah, he was not that good.
Which is fine. Yeah.
Everyone's just so funny, and it is an ensemble cast, because every time she's in any scene, she's got 2 bodyguards with her, and she's got Monica Bellucci being her assistant, that's sort of her confidant, that's like leading her through these situations, and she's got the rival cousin who also wants to be the crime boss, and there's like 4 or 5 different other enemy mob bosses that she's working with, and she's got a love interest, and she's got a best friend back home who she's calling. There's such a wide variety of characters in this film, and they all have bits, and they all have distinct personalities, and they all fit so well into these scenes, and they're playing off of each other and making funny movements in the background, and it was just a delight to watch such a perfectly tuned cast of comedic actors put their best work out on screen.
Yeah, let's start with Monica Bellucci there from the ensemble, because we talked about Toni Collette, and we'll just move down the cast list here to Monica Bellucci, sort of an acclaimed actress in many regards, who isn't doing a zany, wacky, over the top performance here like a lot of these other actors might be. She is being quite restrained. She is the comedic straight man in a lot of these scenarios, and it totally works, because Toni Collette gets to be the fish out of the water, and Monica Bellucci is the comedic straight man, where she is like, things are going awry, and Toni Collette's like, I gotta get out of here. I'm not cut out for all this. And Monica Bellucci straight up says to her, he's like, hey, you gotta do this. And she's bribing her with the new phone to get to the guy that she wants to sleep with, and she's doing all this stuff. They're doing like therapeutic grape stomping. There's a moment where like, even simple line deliveries, lines that could be nothing, and I remember this because I said the grape stomping. She just walks up to Toni Collette and says, "You've been grape gathering all night. What's wrong?" And like, we lost it at that, just because of the way and the tone of her inflection there is just incredible, frankly. And that's her throughout the entire film. She has a great bit where she has a prosthetic leg that comes around in the final action sequence in a very funny way. There is also like this romantic chemistry between her and Toni Collette. Toni Collette has romantic chemistry with a number of people throughout this film, which is just another comedic and frankly like very sensual sense that this film has, that again can't be noticed in a lot of other modern films, especially of this ilk. There's also great, like Monica Bellucci and Toni Collette. I was like, if they end up together by the end of this film, I would be elated, because they have just such great chemistry across the board.
Yeah, but there are some characters that she doesn't have chemistry with, which are, of course, Dante and Aldo, her bodyguards.
Oh, yes.
And they are just so funny. Yeah. They're so funny.
A Tweedledee and Tweedledum, duo kind of thing going on here.
Yeah, and every time we cut to them doing whatever it is that they're doing, even if it's just standing there in a funny way, they are the punchline, but they are a punchline that you really come to care about. They're like these 2 really charming, really lovable, kind of bumbling, but ultimately good-hearted bodyguards that by the end of the film, when either one of them is in a dangerous situation, like, you cannot kill them. I love these guys. I care so much. And they're just hilarious throughout. And almost every scene is some amalgamation of one of them or 2 of them, or you throw Monica Bellucci in there, or you throw Fabrizio, the rival cousin, in there, and all of them are just absolutely hilarious. And I really just like that we get this gang of characters that don't know each other at first, but then become acquainted to one another, and we watch their bond grow, and then there's still comedy in that, and then there's comedy in once they're really used to each other by the end. I really did like these two side characters that are really, C-tier roles, but their comedy presence makes them feel so much more.
I mean, there was a classic shot that really just sells the whole dynamic that Toni Collette and these two guys have, along with Lorenzo, who is sort of a love interest for Toni Collette in the film, where it is Lorenzo and Toni Collette like on a Vespa going through the Italian countryside. They're laughing, they're having a good time, and then they kind of go by camera, and the camera lingers a little bit, and then Dante and Aldo come into frame, also riding a moped, because they have to oversee all of their dates to make sure that nothing happens to Toni Collette as the leader of the Balbano crime family. And it's just great. There's another moment towards in a court case towards the end where Dante is in like a neck brace, and he says, "Look what they do to poor Dante." I was like, yeah, look what they do to poor Dante. He doesn't deserve this. He's my sweet baby boy. Okay, and then of course, and you care about them, which is the important thing above all of this.
Yeah, the interesting thing about this film, we talk about the cast, we talk about the production, we talk about the comedy. These are the points where this film hits all its marks incredibly well. Mm-hmm. But I think I kind of want to stop our full discussion there, because this movie is surprising. And the reason why I adored it so much is I didn't know what was coming next. And because it was bit after bit of just comedy and funny lines that I don't want to go through too many of them. Until we go into spoilers. I want to have a spoiler section here. Okay. So first off, I just want to say, I'm giving this movie a 9 out of 10. Yeah. I really did love this movie. The only flaw that I really have with it, I think it loses a little bit of steam near the end. You talk about that court case, and I don't think that was as funny, and they felt a little bit shoehorned in. Okay. But a little loss of energy near the end does not lose steam for this movie in the grand scheme of things, because it also picks up energy right after that. So
I'll go 8 out of 10. I think it's equally great as you. Just our own personal rating scales might differentiate there. But yeah, this is a fantastic film, a real hidden gem coming out this weekend in 2023, coming out in mid-April, of all things. But yeah, love this film. Absolutely go see it if you want to have a good time in the theater. If it's showing near you, I don't know how wide a release this thing's getting, but if you can see it, or when it hits streaming, inevitably, catch it there if you can. Yeah. For sure. Just watch Mafia Mamma. You'll guaranteed have a good time. And severely underrated, I would say.
Absolutely.
This has like a 2.6 on Letterboxd. I think I scrolled by. It has like a 24% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That is dumb. What movie did they watch? Oh my god.
I don't know.
It's so well written. It's so well acted.
Yeah.
Oh, god.
Okay.
That's frustrating.
Yeah.
But Tanner, spoiler section. By spoilers, I mean, let's talk about jokes. Let's talk about some of the best bits in this movie, because there's just so many of them. Yeah. Off the top of my head, when Toni Collette is trying to get it on with the rival crime boss, and he poisons himself in this whole ridiculous scenario, and then there's multiple great jokes in there. But the moment that really just made me absolutely lose it is when the guys come busting in the room, and she plays dead on the ground, and plays dead like this, and then changes her body position to make it seem like it's more natural that she died like that. Oh my god, it was so funny.
It's so good. I just have to shout out the since we're in spoilers now, I feel okay talking about some later game story aspects. When Fabrizio sort of reveals himself to be he betrays the family, and he wants to take it over. Just his whole presence throughout the entire film. He is a kinetic, chaotic presence in the film where you never know what his...
He's a cannonball. What the hell's going to happen?
You never know what his reaction to anything is going to be. There's one moment when there's a shootout, at the end of the film, and he just turns to a rival gang member under the table, and he just goes, "Ah!" He just screams right in his face. Yeah, it's incredible. And then he has the gun when he's holding Toni Collette's husband and son hostage, and he's just kind of motioning and sort of egging them on a little bit. He's just great. I love Fabrizio.
Yeah, I also love just this short side moment of Dante and Aldo eating pasta at the house, and Dante just keeps eating more and more pasta, and they keep delivering pasta, and he's just loving all the pasta, taking all these Tupperware home. That's so funny.
And Aldo dumps his plate onto Dante's plate, and the mom comes by again, and she's like, "Oh, you like it more and more." And he's like, "No. That's a classic Italian mom bit, but it works here. Okay, it works." we want to talk about some Italian stereotyping a little bit,
Sure.
I guess. I love the Godfather bits, okay?
Yes.
Because they keep this Italian crime mafia family keeps referencing the Godfather,
Yes.
and you would on concept be like, oh, they probably hate the Godfather, they think it's like demeaning, making fun of them. No, they love it. They're like, yeah, this guy's like Sonny, and Toni Collette's never seen the movie. She's like, Sonny who? She's like, from the Godfather. And then she like tries to reference Vito Corleone or Michael Corleone. She tries to reference Michael Corleone, and Monica Bellucci's like, no, that's Godfather Part 2, you idiot.
And we laughed so hard at that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And of course, it's back to some filmmaking stuff here. Towards the end of the film, when Toni Collette's son is leaving, they do just a reference, sort of a direct homage to the ending shot of The Godfather, which I was like, that's awesome. I just love that.
I do like that they lean into that, because this film is sold on, it's a spin on The Godfather. And for me, that is the concept that got me in my butt in the seat, is, okay, put a suburban white mom in The Godfather and see what fucking happens. And it just played out so well. One of the funniest bits, recurring bits, there's two great recurring bits in this film. Number one, the bit that we started this review with, is whenever they reference the Romano family, everyone turns their head and spits in unison, and it's hilarious every single time. There's also this marketing agency that Toni Collette works for, and her rival marketing development guy keeps putting people on jet skis.
Yeah.
And they do it 3 times, and every fucking time it's funnier.
Because it's a thing where, like, you don't expect it to happen again. Because it happens the first time, he's like, okay, yeah, that's funny. And then it happens twice the second time, where he's like, we open on woman on a jet ski, and you laugh. And then this is intercut with, of course, Toni Collette fighting off of a hitman sent after her, pulling his eye out with a high heel.
Oh my god,
with a stiletto heel. And then we cut
better
back
blood than Renfield.
Yeah, exactly. We keep cutting back to that meeting, and he's like sort of going through all this like objectifying, demeaning stuff for marketing stuff towards women. And then he's like, and then what do? We cut back to her on a jet ski. Just to round off the bit. It's perfect.
It's so funny. It's so funny. She's also so funny when she's grabbing for the phone.
Yeah.
Toni Collette's so good in this. And frankly, I think it might be my favorite performance of hers, because she really does sell this bubbliness to her character, and the little nose scrunches that she makes when she's happy, and the way that she approaches weird conversations with people with a confused look on her face. And when she's reaching for this new phone, like, gimme. That was also just a moment where I genuinely lost it. I laughed full belly laughing constantly throughout this film, which just doesn't happen very often.
No, yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's much else to say other than reiterating the point of go see Mafia Mamma. It is, as I am planning to entitle this video, and hopefully it is the underrated gem of 2023.
Yes.
I feel safe in calling it that, because not a lot of people are going to go see it this weekend. It is getting severely under-reviewed, as we talked about earlier, unfairly, because I don't know what movie people are watching. Mafia Mamma is genuinely great.
Yes, it absolutely is. And full recommendation from both of us. If you go see it, on our recommendation, on our glowing review, let us know.
Yeah.
And also let us know if you disagree, because I don't quite get it. I've got some friends on Letterboxd to give it like a 3 out of 10. I'm like, huh?
What
the fuck? But yeah, God, just so happy that a movie just surprised me. Because this movie could have easily been, it was a solid 6, 7 out of 10, and whatever, and I'll think about it again. But like, if I reference the Romano bit, I want this movie to become something I reference. Because I feel so passionately about, it was so funny. Oh,
it's a home run, it's a real home run of a film.
Yeah. All the way to Italy. Don Ciccio. Don Dykstra.
Don Dextrioni.
Oh yeah, Sam did come up with Italian names for us. I can't remember what it was. Ready?
Don Hazella and Don Dextrioni.
Hazella?
Yeah, sure, why not? Hazello?
Hazelino?
Hazelino's good.
Yeah. Dextriano.